I'll again try and take a case study there. I think so. One of the startups we were advising in the recent times, I think the way investor was wanting to evaluate, and we were fortunate enough to get them a good round of funding. The things that they were as investors looking at, Series A investors, were a few things. So one, what is important is, of course, your educational background, where you come from, who are your alumni who have either endorsed you or referred you or are in touch with you or are at successful positions who would want to endorse you. Second is, what is very important is the relevant experience. So if I am running a startup which is into education technology, and if I have a relevant experience into the very same space, if I've led one of the teams at Byju's, say for example, I think that's something that would encourage the investor to go with you. Why? Because they would be more confident of you as a promoter, because you understand that domain or that sector pretty well, and also what they look at is what is the geography of where you were placed. So say for example, I was a promoter, or I was leading one of the teams at Dubai, and I'm currently in India, and I'm starting a company in India, whereby I do not understand the overall ecosystem of Indian education, and I understand Dubai much well. I think the investor would not want to place reliance on that versus a company versus a startup wherein the promoter is an Indian a promoter who has led one of the education companies, or some relevant experience in India, or understands the education system of India much better. Investors would obviously, if they and see, end of day Series A investors are loaded with odds of proposals, so they end of day are always in mode of looking for the best in class opportunity into the very same space. So I think that's very important. What is also equally important is the overall experience of the promoters. So while the investors do look for young blood, of course, they also tend to look for a mixed blood, wherein they have some young entrepreneur coupled with some mixed bag of experience, wherein they could actually place reliance not just on the young enthusiastic promoters, but also some relevant experience of the industry, or some relevant experience of leading positions and leading teams. I think is very, very important for investors to look at. I have missed on one point, which is extremely, or the most important point. They also tend to look at the family background of the promoters, wherein what they actually look at is broadly, you know, who all are there in the family, the honesty and the authenticity of a particular promoter who has come to them as and is raising fund, because significant part of their total fund is actually going to be infused and invested in that particular founder, and not just the funds, but a lot of strategic partnerships, a lot of strategic marketing efforts that the investors will be doing for that particular promoter or that particular business. I think so. It is very important for them to understand the overall family background also of the promoters. That is not an exercise done too much at a seed stage, but yes, at a Series A stage, trust me, a lot of that effort is also taken care of and put in by the investors when they do a due diligence, whether that be a marketing due diligence or a financial due diligence or the other operational due diligence. I think they place a heavy reliance on the family background, the overall experience. So to summarize, I think the family background, experience, the relevant experience, educational background, some endorsements, some testimonials from your peers, alumni, all of that counts a lot. And I think that's what helps in creating a scorecard of the team when an investor evaluates a Series A opportunity.